Welcome to the J.A. Albertson Activity Center. My name is Rob Cashell. I'm the Conference Commissioner for the Cascade Collegiate Conference. And tonight, College of Idaho, ranked number 6 in the country and the number 1 seed, hosting number 4 seeded Southern Oregon University in the conference championship game. I'm joined right now by head coach Scott Garson of the College of Idaho Yokes. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, Coach, it's been a fantastic season. Back-to-back regular season champions and now hosting the championship title game for the 2nd straight year. How's it feel?
Well, it's been a great run for us, obviously. It feels great. Always, striving to win your conference, but we have such a good conference this year that I think this year was particularly special because of how strong our conference was from top to bottom. And, the Cascade Conference definitely has us prepared for postseason play this year. Tonight's game will be phenomenal with Southern Oregon, who's a very good team. And I'm happy we're at home because obviously this has been a very good place for us over the last 2 years.
Well, we're going to be talking with Demetrius and Josh here in just a little bit, and you bring up Southern Oregon and how talented they are. They have 3 players in the top 20 in scoring in the league: Eric Thompson, Jordan West, and Tim Weber. What are some keys tonight for the Coyotes to come away with a victory?
Well, I think a lot of it starts with Tim Weber. He's a 6'7" point guard, and he leads the country in assists. And so he's just a very versatile player. Coach McDermott does a great job with their motion offense, and they're constantly making you stick to your defensive principles. And as soon as something breaks down, they're going to back cut, they're going to curl, they're going to get a layup, they're going to get an open 3. They shoot the ball as well as anybody in the country. They shoot over 50% from the field on the season. And so, number one is trying not to allow Weber to pick us apart by hitting cutters. I think our ball pressure is going to be really important tonight. And then Eric Thompson can score with the best of them. Obviously he's a returning All-American from last year in the NAI Division II. And so, it'll be really which team is able to get some stops at crucial moments down the stretch tonight. Because I think both teams are very, very good scoring teams and offensive teams, and hopefully our ability to defend will allow us to maybe come out on top.
Well, and you own now a 33-game winning streak at home, so obviously you love playing at home, but you've been tested here. There's been teams that have come in and really down that stretch, that defensive pressure you talk about, ball control and getting key stops has played really well into your success. So talk a little bit about that streak and what it means to own that.
Well, the community of Caldwell has been incredible. We lead the country in attendance. We've got several sellout full houses with 2,500 here. The community here is just incredible the way they follow our team and support our team and our school in general. But we have had teams that have really tested us this year. I think we're more battle tested at this time this year than we were a year ago. Because of those close games. Everybody's coming after us because of the success we had last year, and everybody wants to break our streak here at home. And so we always get the best effort from every team we play, regardless of what their record is. And that's really helped our team learn how to take everybody's best shot and still deal with that adversity throughout the game and stay poised and confident throughout the contest. We're confident that we know that late game situations, I think we feel comfortable executing under those situations.
Well, you mentioned being battle-tested in the Cascade Conference, and it's very likely we're going to get 4 teams into the national tournament. You went back there last year, no stranger to high-pressure games, being an assistant coach at UCLA and being in March Madness. But talk a little bit about that environment back at the NAIA national tournament.
Well, it's really a tremendous environment. College of the Ozarks does a great job of hosting and making all the teams feel welcome there. And the environment is tremendous because all 32 teams are in the same spot, and that's pretty neat to be able to see everybody play. Obviously, it was difficult for us last year playing Ozarks in the first game, having to play a true road game. For us, we had 0 experience on our team in terms of postseason play. None of our players had been to the national tournament before. Now I think with the guys returning from last year's team, we have a feel for what that's like, we have a feel for that court. Hopefully that experience from last year will help us be able to advance a little bit further this year in the national tournament. And I know it's been a real goal of our team. The guys coming back from last year have a lot of fire, wanting to get back there and try and show what a good team we are and represent our conference well. The Cascade Conference is so good this year. I think that we have 4 teams most likely that will be representing our teams very, very well. We have 4 teams that are capable of playing very deep in that tournament.
And now we have a change in the AQ process. Now, obviously, you guys already own the first AQ by being the #1 seed and co-champions in the league. But what do you think about the change in the AQ system now, where tonight for Southern to ensure themselves a trip to Boston, they need to win?
Well, I think it's great. It makes this game more meaningful. Last year, Northwest Christian already knew they were in before they played us, and so, you know, they were going to be a lower seed anyways because they weren't going to get in as an at-large. And so the game didn't mean as much. I think there's so much more riding on this game now. You know, we have obviously riding on this game to remain highly ranked and to try and get a high seed and to continue just winning at home and playing well going to the tournament. Whereas in Southern Oregon knows that if they win, it's an automatic get in. They don't have to wait till Wednesday night to find out, and it will take a lot of stress off of Coach McDermott's plate. You know, we'll have Concordia, I think, rooting very, very hard for us tonight, I would assume. And they want us to win so they can get that second automatic. And I think that's great. I think it's a great thing for our conference. I think it's the right thing too, because I think it rewards the teams for what they've done over the entirety of the regular season, more so than just going on a 3-game winning streak at the right time.
Now talk a little bit about, you've managed to blend some freshman players into some really good transfer players, and how have you managed getting them to buy into that whole family system, a yoke fam as you call it?
Yeah, well, you know, we really do. I mean, our team really, when you talk about the fact that we're a family, we're really together, really a tight group. We were really tight last year. This year's even tighter. And I think that a lot of that has to do, it starts with recruiting high character individuals. There's not a person on our team that I worry about when I go to bed at night that is making bad decisions, wrong decisions. College kids are going to make mistakes, but we have young men on our team that really represent our college, our community, and their families and themselves very, very well with everything they do. And I think that those like people are going to be able to get along a lot better with one another than if you have a bad apple or a bad egg in the family that can cause some rifts and some problems. There's no cliques on our team. Our team we spend a lot of time away from the court doing things together, particularly in the preseason and early on in the season. And I just love the way our team is so together and unified. Even the guys that aren't playing as much are so excited for other people's success. And you know, we use Coach Wooden's line a lot, which is happiness begins where selfishness ends. We talk about that all the time. Our players hear that from me a lot. And we truly have a happy team here because we have a very unselfish group of individuals.
Well, speaking of just tremendous individuals, your boss, AD, former basketball coach, Marty Hawley, you know, owns a national championship title and really built college of Idaho basketball. How nice is that for you to have a mentor like that just down the hall who gets basketball, who understands day in and day out what you go through?
It's incredible. You just said it right there. He understands the grind day in and day out that coaches go through and what players are going through and how difficult some of the different aspects that I think the general fan probably doesn't realize, or even maybe an administrator that hasn't coached or played before. He understands, you know, the psychology that goes into getting guys in the right mind frame to go ahead and do each and every game, and the mindset when you're on a winning streak with having to try and keep an edge with your team. And little things like that are great. You know, it's so nice because Marty never, ever, probably because he's a former coach, he never comes to me and says, hey, why don't you do this or that? And, you know, you think that, you know, if anybody I would want to do that, it would be him. And so it's great because, but his door is always open for me. I go in there all the time and say, geez, Marty, here's how our practice went today, and you know, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And he's always got some great insight and has given me some great advice over the last 2 years. And I just really appreciate it. And to have a Hall of Fame and national championship coach as your boss is just, you know, couldn't be a better situation for me as a coach.
Well, we expect a sellout crowd tonight at J.A. Albertson Center for the championship ball game between College of Idaho, ranked number 6 in the country, #1 seed versus number 23 in the country, and number 4 seed Southern Oregon University. When we come back, we're going to talk with Demetrius Perkins and Josh Wilson of the Coyote basketball team. Coach, thanks for joining us. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate that.
Welcome back to the 2015 Men's Basketball Championship pregame show. I'm Commissioner Rob Cashell. We are in the J.A. Albertsons Activity Center, and we're speaking with two of the Coyote basketball players, Demetrius Perkins and Josh Wilson. Guys, thanks so much for taking some time to talk with us.
Thank you for having us.
Demetrius, I'll start with you first. This is the second straight tournament championship game you guys are in. And what's it like for you guys to be back in that position, hosting the championship game?
Honestly, it's a dream come true. I mean, it's rare that any team in the Cascade Conference can, be here 2 times in a row. So it's just a pleasure for us to be back here.
And you've had outstanding crowds all year long, and the Yote faithful have really come out. Josh, what's it like to play in front of that environment and all of your classmates and really just the faithful that come out to watch you?
It's fun to know how much the community and the school is behind us and want to see us succeed on the court. So it's fun for them, and when they start cheering, they get louder. It's fun for us, so we just feed off their energy during the games.
Now, one of the things that's really unique about tonight's matchup, I think, is the balance in scoring that Southern brings to the table. They'll have 3 players that rank in the top 20 in scoring in the conference. So what are some of the things that you guys have worked on defensively to take that scoring power away from them?
We just pretty much just focus on our player, like the person that we have to guard. We just focus on them and try to help them out as much as we can, because we know that Southern Oregon is a pretty tough team to play. Obviously, we lost to them at their house, and we were fortunate to win at our house. So we just got to pretty much focus on just the man that we're guarding and try not to let them get anything. So that's our main focus, just individually stop our man.
Now, last year you guys went to the national tournament, first time in several years that College of Idaho had been there, and had what was considered an upset in the first round. What's your mindset now going into, obviously not looking past tonight, but you are qualified for the national tournament? What's your mindset and how are you preparing to go deep into the tournament? Josh, I'll start with you.
It's just anybody that can be beaten. We were ranked second in the nation last year. And anybody we beat on any given night, so you have to just keep practicing and just keep working hard every day and just bring it every day. You can't take anything for granted. We could be taking it just like that.
And Demetrius, last year you guys drew tournament hosts, the College of the Ozarks, and you got to see firsthand that environment that they bring to the table. What was that like playing in front of basically their home crowd?
I don't think our team was really rattled because we're used to playing in that kind of environment. So I feel like, it was just a bit tough not being able to warm up as much as, we were used to warming up on the floor. So I think that was just a tough part about it. But other than that, they got us fair and square. So.
Now, in addition to being great athletes, you guys are also students. Tell me a little bit about your degree program and when you're expected to graduate. Demetrius?
I'm expected to graduate this spring. So, the academics here it's amazing. It's tough, but I feel like it's going to be well worth it. I'm a history major, so that itself is pretty tough. A lot of reading, a lot of writing, a lot of late nights. So I feel like that's just the toughest part about it. But other than that, I know it's going to be well worth it.
Josh, how about you?
I plan on graduating in the spring too as well. And my major is in physical education, and I plan on being a coach one day. So I follow Coach Garson around a lot and see how he does things and how he works, and Coach Blaine, and try to get as much pointers and advice as I can while I'm here under 2 great coaches, and as well as all of our other coaching staff. It's just good to have great coaches, great people around that can advise you and how to do, especially if this is what I'm going to do in the future.
That's great. Well, guys, I wish you the best of luck tonight. It's been a real pleasure watching you both play the last 2 years of the Cascade Conference. And best of luck to you tonight and again at the national tournament. We will be right back, joined by head coach Brian McDermott from Southern Oregon University and Eric Thompson and Tim Weber. Welcome back to the J.A. Albertson Activity Center. My name is Rob Cashell. I'm the Cascade Conference Commissioner, and you are watching the 2015 Men's Basketball Championship pregame show presented by U.S. Bank. I am joined now by Southern Oregon University head coach Brian McDermott. Mac, thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Hey, you find yourself as the #4 seed heading into tonight's game against College of Idaho. How you got here was really a battle in the first 2 rounds. Talk a little bit about the Northwest Christian game in Warner.
It's been a little battle all year. Well, the Northwest Christian game, we felt like that we controlled most of the night. You know, I think we were up 9 with a minute 30 to go, or a minute 28. And they made 6 threes in the last 3 minutes. Each one seemed to get more unbelievable than the one that preceded it. And they just kept making them. And I think we're still up. I think we were up 4 or 6 with 13 seconds to go, and they made 2 more. Made one falling out of bounds to put it in overtime. So, and that's a tough deal. When you've controlled the game, you feel like you did the work. And for whatever reason, the other team makes the plays, and they did. So we get to overtime, and they immediately go up 7. And you can kind of feel it, hear it, or the air going out of the bubble. And it's starting to feel bad. Our guys, you know, they've kind of been this way all year. They've been very resilient about this. And we've made big plays, and they just kind of grinded away. We got a good basket, and we got a free throw, we stopped, and basket. All of a sudden, we're down 1, so we're right there. And then through all that, we made a bunch of free throws, and we had a couple freshmen making a ton of free throws. We had 2 freshman guards that played. I think they played 73 minutes that night between. It was 16 to 21 from the free throw line. The 2 biggest ones came with 4 seconds to go in the first overtime with one of our freshmen. He made it and got us to the second overtime, which then we kind of turned it around, but we got out right away. So that was a big one.
Well, and then the game at Warner Pacific, #4 against #3, and really, to be honest with you, I think a lot of people thought Warner's been playing as good or maybe better than anybody in the league right now. And you went up there and shot 57% and really controlled that game as well.
Yeah, we did. And we controlled it in a number of ways. We were much better defensively against them than we were a week previous to that. We just could not get them on the rhythm that night at our place when they beat us. And then offensively, we just kept changing things up, and we got people in good spots. And you have to make, against the zone, at some point you're going to have to make some shots. And I think that the big difference for us with those shots were all pretty good shots. They weren't as contested as they've been. So that I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and it was a great matchup and really a good environment. And that leads to tonight's game against College of Idaho. And, you know, they have a lot of weapons inside and out. They have good bigs that play very good inside, really explosive talent. What are keys tonight for Southern to come away with a victory and that second AQ to the national tournament?
Well, the first thing is, and Scott has assured me that there won't be anybody here, so we won't have to worry about crowd noise tonight. So, he said that last night. I'm not sure. I think that, you know, the biggest thing with us in this game is transition defense. We played really well out here the last time. We had early streaks there where we got away from us in transition. When we were able to make it a half-court game, we were pretty successful. Easier said than done to get everybody back, but you know, if you give a full effort, then a lot of it starts with our shot selection at the other end. If we have good shot selection, then we can get back a lot easier. We can do that then and make it a half-court game, and we like our chances.
Well, you mentioned the crowd, and as you know, and we expect a big crowd tonight for the championship game. Talk a little bit about the positives and kind of the downsides of coaching in that environment.
Well, our guys like it. It's fun. It's a great atmosphere. It's enjoyable. The hardest part is probably getting the calls in, you know, from the bench, especially depending on where you're at. If you have to get something out of the other, whether it's an offensive or defensive call. And I know just from my voice is hardly recovered from Saturday night, and so we'll see if I can make it through the full game tonight with different calls. It'll be a little different here because we won't be switching things quite as often as what we were up there. Both ends of the court, we're switching just by possession, so it'll be quite I've got a lot of guys, but one has so much in the tank. We'll see. To me, that's one of the biggest things.
Well, Coach, 19th season at Southern Oregon. You've seen a lot of basketball, and we've talked before and earlier this year about the depth of the conference this year. Talk a little bit about what you've seen over 19 years, the improvement.
Well, you know, there's been a few years here of late that I thought that it keeps getting a little bit deeper. It used to be it was 4, and then it went to 6, and now it's about 8 teams. I think what we've seen is that there's more teams that have the possibility of being on any given night. I don't think that the top teams are necessarily better than because there were some teams, and maybe it's because the top teams before were so much better than the other teams that felt like they were really, really good. Now it's so close. So it's not that the top teams haven't been good, but they have been. But there just hasn't been nearly as much difference. And so maybe it feels like that the teams aren't as great as they once were. I just know we kind of went through that stage where, where you were going to win at home all the time, and on the road you'd have easy shots, and then it got to where winning on the road was going to be really hard anywhere. And now it's winning at home is hard against anybody. So there just aren't any nights where you can take off. And that's a hard one.
Well, Mac, we have a new AQ process this year, which really was one that you were in favor of, where the second AQ, in order to win it, you need to go on the road and win 3 in the tournament. Not on the road, but win 3 in the tournament, unless you're the number 2 seed. So talk a little bit about that, because you're in that situation.
Yeah, well, I think we kind of all had a feeling last year when I pushed for that so hard that we would end up being that team. Last year, but it works both ways. If we look at it over the last few years, last year had the new thing been in, we would have gotten in.
Right.
And this year it's a little bit different. If it was the old thing, we'd be in already. But I still think the way we're doing it now is the right way. I think over time it'll be proven, and I think it's the more fair way in terms of things for around the country. I think if you have that chance to compare a 2-game tournament to an 18-game conference or a 20-game conference like we'll have next year, I don't even think it's close in the comparison. The teams that do best in that 20 games should be, that's kind of what we're looking at.
Well, big game tonight. It is the Cascade Conference Championships. College of Idaho taking on Southern Oregon University. I want to thank Coach McDermott for joining us. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by a couple of Raider basketball players. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Cascade Conference Men's Basketball Championship pregame show. I'm Rob Cashell, Commissioner of the conference, and I'm joined right now by 2 seniors on the Raider basketball team, Eric Thompson and Tim Weber. Thank you guys for joining the program.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. Well, Eric, I'm going to start with you. You're a senior, obviously Tim is too. What's it mean for you guys to be back in the championship game and really a berth to the national tournament on the line?
It means a lot to us. I think we have such a neat team this year, so much different in comparison to years past. We have a young group of guys, but I think we're the most cohesive group we've ever been, and so it means a lot to both Tim and I to get the young guys to Branson and get them off on the right foot and just have an experience like that. And for us to go out with this team in Branson as opposed to not going at all is definitely something that means a lot to us.
Tim, obviously College of Idaho presents some matchup challenges. They're very big inside. They have really good perimeter players. What are some keys tonight that you guys have talked about as a team to hopefully walk away with a victory?
I think the biggest thing for us is composure. It's going to be a packed house tonight, and the first time we played in here, we had a lead in the second half, and we let them go on a big run and kind of got away from us just a little bit. So I think the biggest key for us is just playing the way we know we can play, and I think we're going to live with the outcome. If we reach our full potential and we lose, I think that's okay. But I think if we play like I know we can play, I don't think we'll walk out of here with a loss.
Eric, you lead the team in points and rebounds, and returning all-conference player, all-American player. What's it like for you to know that night in and night out, you're going to get probably their best defender on you, trying to keep you at bay?
It's something that's gotten the better of me in years past, not as much this year. I think just having the last 3 years of experience with that has helped me out a lot, and having another leader like Tim to really keep things in perspective and add some insight, and just having guys around us that knock down shots. I mean, we have so many guys on the floor who do great things night in and night out, and it's really made my life a lot easier this year. I mean, Tim gets me wide open shots almost every night, so I actually haven't had to fight for as many open or good looks this year as I have in years past.
Well, speaking of that, Tim, you lead the league and the nation in assists and at a clip of about 8.5 per game. Plus, you're in the top 20 in scoring in the conference. What's it like for you knowing that really just about every offensive set you're going to touch the ball?
You know, it's a little nerve-wracking sometimes, but I mean, my job is the easy part. I pass it to them. They do the hard part. They actually make the shot. You know, I score when I need to, but really my role on the team is just to facilitate and make sure things are going smoothly. And I don't think there's a whole lot of pressure on me. I think, you know, like I said, I do the easy part, and if they miss, it's on them. But I think I just kind of keep us under control and kind of make sure, Coach, we run the sets that Coach wants, and I just, you know, try to make it run as smoothly as possible.
Now, Eric, you mentioned it a little bit. You've got some young guys on the team that have really stepped up and had great high school careers and now stepping into very competitive Cascade Conference. What have you guys done as leaders to help them along and understand the grind of the season?
I think before the season even started, I remember when you know, Ben and Kenny first came in, just telling them that no matter what happens, you know, they're good enough to be here. They knew that. They were both incredible high school players, you know, averaging 20 plus points a game. There's just a certain skill set and mindset that I think you have to be someone who averages those kind of numbers, whether it's in high school or not. And so just helping them to know that, you know, we've seen what the competition's like in the last 3 years, and watching them play, there was no doubt in our mind that they were going to do great things. So just sticking with them, keeping, you know, planting seeds in their ear, and just keep reminding them that they're good enough to be here.
Well, I talked to your coach, Coach Mack, about the change in process of the AQ this year. And now you find yourself in a very meaningful game from a standpoint of needing to win the game to get the automatic berth. Most likely going to get an at-large. But how does that feel coming into this game knowing that, hey, we can get the auto with a win?
I think, you know, it's more about the conference title than anything for us. I mean, we were there a couple years ago and we fell just short. And it's going to be a meaningful game no matter who you're playing or what you're playing for. You know, we've had tons of battles with these teams, or this team, throughout the years, and I think really it just comes down to this game. I don't think we're thinking too much about seeding or the tournament right now. I think we're just focused on this one game, and we're ready for a grinded out game tonight. And I think we're going to go one day at a time. That's what is in front of us right now.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure watching you play not only this year but throughout your career at Southern Oregon. We wish you nothing but luck tonight. Hopefully getting into that national tournament with a win tonight you're in. Without one, most likely an at-large bid, and we wish you well there as well. You've been watching the Cascade Conference Men's Basketball pregame show. Tip-off tonight at 7 p.m. in the J.A. Albertson Center. Number 6 and the number 1 seed, College of Idaho, taking on number 23 and the number 4 seed, Southern Oregon University Raiders.